Hey, what's up, everyone? You are listening or watching to my comic book journey podcast. I'm your host, KNDY, and today I'm using a new mic, a brand new mic. This one is the Comica eJoy Uni Pro. So definitely trying something different. I actually tried two different mics now. The first one, the one I've been using, is the Razer, and you know that one's a good mic. But the problem is that I prefer to have something that's more USB C. And then I moved to the Klim, one of the newer ones, and that one was uh, okay. But this one, I think it's more of the type that I want to use. It's a little bit lower though, so I'm a little. We'll see how it goes. It's the last mic, the Razer one. At least it goes a little higher. This one goes a little lower, and I may need to get a new stand to utilize this type of microphone. We'll see how it goes, but right now I'm just testing to see how it sounds, and hopefully the audio quality is much better. I know the last one captured my fan really, a lot, but sounds like I'm recording from a windy location. But I maybe this it'll happen again with this one. I don't know. We'll find out. So this is the first time I am recording from it. So we're going to be talking about Solar Man of the Atom, August 1992. This is issue number 12. Valiant Comics, writers Jim Shooter, pencilers Don Perlin, inkers Stan Drake, and colorist is Mike Cavallaro. And this is Unity Chapter 9. So this one's very interesting because it focuses on the woman named Erica Pierce. In the last issue, we saw Erica, Dr. Pierce, who is how do I say this? To go back several issues before, there were two people that were caught in the experiment that gave Solar his powers. It was him and someone named Erica, Dr. Erica Pierce. So Erica, she didn't want to keep the powers. She tried to repress it. While as Solar Selesky, Dr. Selesky, he pretty much took it in, and he's become a superhero. As as you have probably have seen through my podcast reviews, or if you've been reading the comics, he's a man of the atom, pretty much man of light, and he could be indestructible if it's just that he's not a fighter. He's more of a doctor. So, and same thing as with Dr. Erica Cooper, or Erica Pierce. I'm sorry. So what happened is that she repressed her power. She was pregnant. She lost the baby, and she's changed. She can't control it. She's burning up, and when she gets home, her husband beats her. So she lives in a domestic violent, very violent household. She's trying to protect her child, her little boy. And so Erica Pierce ends up defending herself and pretty much kills her husband. So that's how the last issue left off, and now with chapter 9 of Unity, we see that Erica Pierce comes to visit, and little Albert is confused. Why is his mother there? Why is there two of his mothers there? Pretty much. And we learned that the Erica Pierce that has come back is a different Erica Pierce. So this is going to sound confusing, but in Solar issue 10, Solar pretty much destroys the planet, or the planet gets destroyed. He ends up fixing it, but in the process, because there were another timeline, he managed to live, but the Erica Pierce of that timeline has now lived and came out and is now with the Erica Pierce of this timeline. And she sees how this Erica has repressed her powers, is weak, so she kills that Erica Pierce and takes Albert as her son. And when you're reading this comic book, it's very interesting because it jumps, a decade, 25 years later, 100 years later, hundreds of years later. And there is one thing that's consistent, is that this new Erica Pierce from the alternate timeline has made it so her and her son do not age. Of course, Albert gets pissed and he's saying, I'm this old. He knows that he's like 100 years old, but his mom forces him to be a child, but he promises her, or she promises him, that she'll allow him to grow slowly. So you see him as a child. He doesn't get any. He gets older by age, but in terms of look, he still maintains like a teenager type of look. But there are some things that are kind of screwed up in this issue, and it's the fact that Albert, he wants to be like any guy. He wants to have a girlfriend, know what love is, but his mom, or this Erica Pierce, won't allow it. So what does she do? She offers herself to her son, that she wants to teach him and stuff. It just goes a little incestual, but again, you got to remember, this Erica Pierce is not the same Erica Pierce in her timeline, so she's trying to use that in a warped way of saying, I'm not your mom, because she came from a different timeline. Same person, different alternate universe, so it's a little weird. Meanwhile, Solar and Geoff are pretty much trying to find Erica Pierce and trying to piece together what has happened. And eventually, Selesky learns that the woman from the alternate timeline, the Erica Pierce from there, has pretty much made it into this timeline of the saved planet. And it's just a whole weird, it's just really a little complex, because you have the different timelines and what happened after issue 10, so things get a little screwy because of that. And there is a situation where all of the Valiant superheroes come together to take on Erica Pierce, and some things happen, and I'll just leave it at that, because you kind of have to read Unity to really understand the comic book. But it's a very good issue. It's a wonderful issue, but you got to read it. It's kind of it was a little surprising. I will say though that when did it start? I think it started with issue 8. Yeah. So with issue 7, it was $1.95, and then the price went up to $2.25, and that's still pretty cheap. But compared to then, I guess I just remembered the jump in price, and Valiant, and oh man, it made it much harder, because you had Marvel and with their so many variant covers, and then you had DC also getting into it. Then you have Image Comics also getting into it. And just to collect so many lines, it just was really crazy and difficult. Well, it's hard to say. It was difficult for certain titles, but you have to remember also during that time, certain comic book companies, especially the independent ones, were really bad when it comes to making things up and schedule. So things were solicited late. Well, solicited early, but came out very late. And I think still Valiant comics were still good in this time. You could still, it's just hard to find. It's just so popular, hard to find, and I was very fortunate to get this issue because it was a Unity issue, and you just never. Every time I visited the store, you never knew if you were going to get a Valiant issue or not because they were just hard. Everyone wanted one. It was just getting too popular, and I guess you could say that that's one thing I do remember the most is just being happy that I was able to get this Unity issue because Unity was the big talk. Wizard and was really hardcore promoting it, and definitely wanted to get my hands on an issue, and I was glad I did. So, but that is Solar Man of the Atom, issue number 12. A little complex, but you got to read, Solar issue number 10, and even earlier issues to know who Dr. Erica Pierce is, but 10 is when all things just gotta go crazy, and it leads to what's happening to issue number 12. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, everyone, you take care. I'll see you later. Wink, wink, and bye, everyone.